Welcome to the Bobby Drew Show with your host, Bobby Drew, David, and Brian.
Yeah! Welcome to the Bobby Drew Show with your host, Bobby Drew. We got the full crew here. Dave's here. We got Brian as well. If you're listening on Spotify, you can't see that. So Dave, let them hear your voice.
I'm back and I'm ready to talk. Getting a little cold, but I'll be okay.
We apologize for any excessive coughing or noises from Dave over there.
Snorts and hacking.
You weren't here for our Tuesday show, and some people were in full panic mode. I was like panicked, calm, angry, sad, upset, all at the same time. But it's week 2 now, guys. Everything's good. Everything's fine. I'm gonna win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not with your team, you're not.
It's week 2. How are you guys feeling?
Terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, not physically.
I feel good.
I feel better physically. I feel terrible. How do you get CMC in your draft and you just regret it?
What did I tell you?
I can't give this guy away. Well, I probably could give him away, but nobody will trade me for him. I hate fantasy football.
It's a bad year for CMC.
Oh, man. I knew it.
Yep.
Guys, let me remind you, it's only week 2.
I know.
It's only week 2.
He might get better.
No.
What do you want to see in week 2?
A little more points from the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks, they're selling. Quarterbacks are terrible except for Baker Mayfield. Quarterbacks were terrible.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough showing in week 1. I want to see more scoring. There was not enough touchdowns week 1. So I need to see more touchdowns, pronto.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking forward to in week 2. Touchdowns galore is from all my players, though. All my players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, we got an action-packed show. We have news and injuries coming up. And then right after that, we're going for a full breakdown. We're going to tell you some players to start, maybe some players that we're a little cautious about. We're going to go through every single game and mention a few names. So hopefully we can help you make some decisions this week. And then at the end, we have our players that you must start, all right? But let's get into our news and injuries for this week.
News and injuries.
All right, here we are. So I don't know who has Noah Fant, but if you do, he was limited in practice this week. So he has a toe injury. He's a limited participant in Wednesday's practice. By the time you're listening to this, it's Thursday. That could change, but as of Wednesday, limited participant. Another player from the Seattle Seahawks is Tyler Lockett. He has a thigh injury. He practiced on Wednesday, but just like his cohort there, Noah Fant, it was in limited fashion. So if you have Tyler Lockett, which he had a good week 1, keep an eye on that. Now, does that increase DK Metcalf for you guys, knowing that maybe Noah Fant might be out, Tyler Lockett could possibly be out? Does that increase DK Metcalf for you?
He's going to have Christian Gonzalez across from him, DK. Nah, I wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't play him. Nope.
Well, it's not over for the Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker did not practice on Wednesday. He has an oblique injury. An extra 5 points to your fantasy football team if you know what an oblique is.
Right up here.
I was going to say it's somewhere in the core, right?
Somewhere from the top of the head to the soles of the feet. It's in the body.
Hang on. I'm on Google.
It's all right. Moving on, Antonio Gibson was also limited in practice on Wednesday. That's irrelevant. Josh Palmer He got a practice in. He has a knee injury he's dealing with. He is limited in practice on Wednesday as well. David Njoku has been ruled out for week 2. So Jordan Akins, is it Akins or Atkins? One of the two. He's set up to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns if you're interested in that. Josh Reynolds has an Achilles problem. He's a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, if you guys didn't know that. Probably not, because all the wide receivers don't matter. Here's some relevant news. Finally, we get to somebody that's actually worth listening to or listening about. Puka Nacua. It has now been reported by Sean McVay that it is very possible that he is going to miss more than 4 games. He has a, air quotes, unique injury that may require him to miss more than the required 4 games while on injured reserve. So we'll see what's going on there. Lamar Jackson is off the injury report. He had an undisclosed injury, but he's all good to go. Brian, I think you mentioned it on Tuesday. Maybe it was on air, off air. I don't know. Joe Burrow, he has that wrist issue. This is a weird quote from him. He says he downplays it. He goes, "I don't have a wrist problem. My wrist is all fine." And this is him quoting. He says he flexes his wrist all the time, including at home, in order to keep the joint loose because that's part of ligament injuries. Interesting. Guys, don't worry. I flex my wrist everywhere.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen. Ligament injuries are for real, dude. Back in the day, I broke a couple fingers. I can't even make a fist anymore because them ligaments they're stuck.
The ligaments aren't ligaments.
Ligaments are for real, dude. So good job flexing your wrist.
Maybe that's your problem, Dave. You just need to flex your pinky.
I didn't flex, man. I didn't flex my fingers good enough.
Russell Wilson, he is a limited participant on Wednesday's practice. So they're saying if he continues progressing, he may be in the position to start on Sunday. Interesting. We will see.
Either way, he'll be in full pads. He'll be fully dressed no matter what.
Yeah. What the injured reserve? I'm coming in full pads. Russell Wilson even had eye black on.
Yeah.
That's his pajamas. He sleeps in that.
This is not injury news, but just some news. DeAndre Hopkins is expected to have a larger role in week 2. He was coming off that knee injury, but now they're like, all right, we're going to give him a larger role in week 2. We'll see what happens there. Dalton Schultz for the Houston Texans misses practice on Wednesday. Not there. Foster Moreau, what was it, tight end 2 on the week? Concussion. Yeah. Probably not, maybe might be cleared. Jake Ferguson, not practicing. He is going to probably be out for some time, maybe a week or 2. MCL sprain over there. Josh Jacobs is dealing with a back issue, and he was a limited participant on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens there. Outside of that, I think we're all good. Juwan Jennings, you saw him get injured on Monday night. He was limited on Wednesday. Another Jordan Whittington, wide receiver for the Rams. With Puka Nacua being out, he may be a benefit to that offense. His enroll might increase. And CMC, Dave, I know you mentioned it. He's limited on Wednesday. It's going to be a long shot if he plays on Sunday. Jordan Love, they're saying they're keeping the door open for Sunday, but let me tell you,
I've got
not going to happen.
I've got a thought on CMC is the fact that they won without him. Jordan Mason came in and he proved himself. The old Brian, that's the old Tom Brady motto. When you get your chance, you need to prove yourself.
That's right.
And he did that at least last week. And with this injury with CMC, I just feel like even if he does get fully healthy, are they going to hold him back? Are they just going to try to save him, limit his touches throughout the year so he can stay healthy for the playoffs? I don't know, man. I'm worried about it. I regret drafting him. I really do.
Well,
I really do.
another player on your roster, Dave, Raheem
Mostert,
is
man.
out for week 2. Devon Achane is a game time decision.
Crazy.
Not good news for your team. T. Higgins
Out.
did not practice. He's got a hamstring issue going on. Jordan Addison did not practice. He's probably not going to play on Sunday. Man, injuries galore already. Wow, this is just week 2.
And big names, too.
You know what? They need to start playing in the preseason. I'm sorry. They just do. I mean, they're holding out the preseason so they don't get hurt. Well, then they come in and they can't play because they play and they get hurt because their body's not used to it. Play in the preseason like they did it all the time in the 80s and 90s, the early 2000s. You didn't hear about this stuff. I mean, they're a bunch of divas. Give me a break. Get in there and play.
I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I agree. Look at these guys fighting over contracts and all this stuff. So they're not playing, they're holding out. And you get a guy like Brandon Ayuk who spent the whole preseason deciding where he wants to play instead of being with his team and practicing and getting those reps. And a perfect example in the end zone. Yeah, it would have been a diving catch, but the ball was in his hands and he doesn't catch it, man. You got to get those reps in practice. It's not the same throwing the ball in the backyard with, a friend or whatever. You got to be catching balls from your quarterback. And it's frustrating.
Yep.
Jamar Chase, who's all, the other guys. It's just, I agree with you, Brian.
Yeah.
Get your contract stuff worked out.
Yep. And just play in the preseason.
Or fulfill your contract and then start going for more money. Some of these guys still have years left on their contract and they're holding out. Man, whatever. I'm sorry. You can cut that out.
No, we're going to keep that in.
Edit.
We're going to keep that in.
Edit. Edit that.
Let's move on.
All aboard Weekly Breakdown.
We got a big week ahead of us. Week 2, we're going to go through each matchup. Maybe talk about some names that you're questioning, this and that. It's going to start on Thursday Night Football. We got the Buffalo Bills in the Miami Dolphins. We already mentioned Raheem Mostert's going to be out. Devon Achane is a game-time decision. If Devon Achane is cleared to play right before the game, 2 hours before the game, are you playing him or no?
Absolutely, you're playing him. Yep.
Okay. Dave?
With no Mostert, you're playing him. Mm-hmm.
I think you have to. I think, honestly, if both of them are there, I think I start Achane over Mostert anyway. But I think you have to. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Who's the backup?
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, or is he?
It doesn't matter. Achane is a PPR gold mine. The guy is he's gold. So if they say he's good to go, I'm putting him in. I'm taking a chance.
The good thing about this is they play Thursday night, not Monday night. So you still got time. You still got availability on your bench to put somebody in.
San Francisco 49ers, you see how the Miami Dolphins said, way ahead of time that Raheem Mostert's not going to play? Maybe you should take notes.
Stop it.
Anyways, you're going to play Tua. You're going to play Tyreek Hill. You're going to play Jalen Waddle. If Achane's available, you're playing him. On the Buffalo side, James Cook, we're playing him?
Really? Yeah.
All right. Obviously, you're going to play Josh Allen. Are you going to play Dalton Kincaid?
Yes.
All right. Now, which one of the wide receivers are we going to play? If
Not
you had to pick
Samuel. Curtis Samuel, got like 23% of the load share last week?
Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, he's terrible.
I don't know. I cannot confirm nor deny that. Well, you got Khalil Shakir, you got Keon Coleman, and you got Curtis Samuel. One out of the 3. Are we going to play any of them? Or are we just going to stray away?
No, and I'm playing Coleman still. I mean, rookie. I mean, first game he had like 8, almost 9 points last week, and it wasn't really. It was Josh Allen being a ball hog. He wasn't even really throwing the ball. He literally threw the ball to everybody. He didn't like. He didn't like. I mean, maybe for him he likes it because remember he had Stephon Diggs for the longest time, and he got to keep him happy. So now he feels that he could probably just throw the ball wherever he wants and doesn't have to really worry about it. But if I'm James Cook, I'm tapping Josh Allen on his shoulder and letting him know I want to run the ball in once in a while too, ball hog with your left hand injury.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens, 1 p.m. on Sunday. Interesting matchup here for the Raiders side. Ravens, you're playing every single one of them. Lamar's in, Derrick Henry's in, Zay Flowers. You're going to play Zay Flowers. Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. I know that's been a big debate on the fantasy side of things. You know, who are we starting? Who are we playing? If you have Mark Andrews, I would caution you, do not cut that guy. Be patient. Wait to see how the season plays out. But would you guys prefer Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews in this matchup?
Mark Andrews.
I just think that it's a hard question. It's going back to the debate because you look at like Isaiah Likely, he had one of them awesome weeks. It's not going to happen every week. But Brian, mentioned earlier, well, before we came on live, what happened to Mark Andrews? He's getting double teamed on everything, so he's not getting a chance for the touches that Likely got. That kind of stuff's gonna change from week to week and based on the defense that they're playing. I don't know. I think it's almost like a roll of the dice. It's too early. We don't really know what we're gonna get.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you can go either way and just hope for the best. That's what you got to do.
I think, and I know the way Brian feels about tight ends anyway. It's like, look, if I put a tight end and I get 4 points out of it, I'm good.
Right.
I'm happy.
Yep.
But it's you're gonna have those weeks where like you hit the lottery with your tight end, and I just don't think you can expect that every week out of either one of them. I think it would be safe to start either one of them.
Yep.
And then you just hate yourself afterward.
On the other side of the ball, we have somebody you should be panicking about. I know it's week 1, week 2, but if you have Zamir White, you got to hit the panic button. That guy is a problem.
Yep.
He was not efficient last week, and I don't know if this offense can facilitate a RB1 that's fantasy relevant. I just don't know. But you're going to play Brock Bowers. You're going to play Devontae Adams. How do you guys feel about Gardner Minshew or Jacoby Myers?
You love Gardner Minshew.
I like Gardner Minshew. We got to give him a couple weeks to get the feel with this team, but I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's a play. Jacoby Myers, I mean, he's a stretch. I wouldn't really play him until I got up to my buys. Like if I had him on the bench and I had a buy, that's when I throw him in. But other than that, I just don't see. Devontae Adams is going to need the ball. He's going to start getting really upset. This is his second year in oblivion for that poor guy.
Yeah.
So much talent.
All right. Let's see. We're going to move on to the next game, but I'm going to take 2 players, Jacoby Myers or Josh Palmer this week.
Josh Palmer's hurt. And
if he's healthy, though. If he's healthy.
I'm going Palmer because I still think he's pretty good.
All right. So with that being said, we got the Chargers versus the Panthers. This should be interesting. Very interesting.
Carolina, they're a good team this year, right?
Is there
a high school team?
Is there anybody on the Panthers offense that you are willing to start this week?
Oh.
Let me see.
No.
Let me look at my notes over here.
No. No Deontay Johnson, no Adam Thielen, no Chuba Hubbard, no Bryce Young. No, you're not.
I think until they prove they can be relevant fantasy-wise, I'm not taking a chance. I need at least a week or 2 of consistency there because it is not there. On the Chargers, I mean, who are we playing? We got J.K. Dobbins had a great first week there. Him and Gus Edwards splitting the carries. but he was definitely more efficient. I know Josh Palmer's kind of a little banged up a little bit, but what's that rookie's name? McConkey?
Lad McConkey. Yeah.
Yeah, he did okay. So you're going to start Justin Herbert. McConkey, are you going to start that guy? You feel comfortable starting him this week?
I mean, it's the Panthers defense, but no, I just don't. I wouldn't have even drafted him. Oh, I didn't, so I would never start him. No.
No. All right. What about J.K. Dobbins? We feel comfortable starting him?
I'm going to say yes, but if everybody looks, J.K. Dobbins had 2 really long runs. Without those runs, he's got like no. Let's just say it's like a hit or miss. You know, I mean, he's great right now. He's really their RB1. Gus Edwards can't catch the ball anyway, so I mean, J.K. Dobbins he's your Cinderella right now. He's your good play for this week. But, I mean, I'd play him if I had him just because it's Carolina, but I wouldn't feel that he's going to be an RB1 all year.
I would feel comfortable playing J.K. Dobbins against the Panthers. Mm-hmm. This should be a positive game script for the Chargers.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Dave, we have a battle of the undefeateds. Neither of these two teams have lost yet this season. We have the New Orleans Saints and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we have the obvious starts on the Cowboys side. Dak Prescott, you're going to start that guy. CeeDee Lamb, you're going to start that guy. Now the two questions. Are we going to start Zeke or are we going to start Brandon Cooks? Are those two guys in play this week?
I don't
No.
I don't know. This is stressing me out.
Are you okay?
I'm not, honestly. I'm still not over week 1, and you're asking me questions that I should know the answer to, and I'm just so stressed out. All right, here's the thing. I don't want to start either.
No Zeke, no Brandon Cooks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Cooks had 7 targets, 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown last week. So 14 fantasy football points to take away that touchdown, and he's fantasy irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's a tough call.
Same thing with Zeke. I don't know. All
right. Well, what about the other side? You need to be a little more familiar with the Saints. You have Chris Olave over there. Didn't do anything week 1. If there's ever a trade target out there, it's Chris Olave. He's not going to do that every week. Chris Olave, are we starting him against the Dallas defense?
Well,
yep.
Brian, you feel confident about that?
Yep. I mean, yeah, I think you have to if you've got them. It's going to be tough against Dallas, but yeah.
That Dallas front, if I love Alvin Kamara, and I've got other running backs. I'm telling you, I'm not starting Alvin Kamara this week. I got him in 2 leagues. I've got him on my bench. It's in Dallas. That front is stupid good. Micah Parsons he's a wrecking ball, and I'm not touching that. I mean, Kamara was great last week. I'm totally using Olave. I just think they're gonna load up the box for Kamara, and Chris Olave is gonna have a lot of opportunity. Line up in the slot and go, because Trayvon Diggs is good, but he's not good if he's got to cover the slot. So
I think you can pass against the Cowboys defense right now.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot run against them. And that's why the Browns were so bad last week, because Deshaun Watson has forgotten how to throw a football.
Yep.
I don't know. That guy is in a different world.
Mm-hmm.
So Olave, you're starting him. Would you be comfortable starting Derek Carr if you needed to?
No.
Not against Dallas. I mean, Olave's, he's the number 1 receiver, so they're going to have to throw the ball to him. Mm-hmm. And so I think he can do decent. He's not going to get you 30 points. But
yeah. It only takes 4 or 5 catches in a PPR league to be relevant, depending on the yardage, touchdowns, and all that.
Yeah, exactly. If he can get a touchdown and a handful of catches and some yards, he can do decent for you.
All right, this should be a fun game. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. There's a lot of fantasy stuff going on here. All right, Detroit Lions. You got Jared Goff there, Sam Laporta. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jameson Williams is now in the question or in the picture of possibly being played. On the other side of the ball, you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield, Rashad White. I mean, who are we, I would say out of all those players, let's not talk about who we're playing. Let's talk about who are we not playing.
Rashad White. The Lions' defense against runners is like, I think they're number 4 over the last couple of years. They just shut the run down. I know Rashad White's a PPR kind of, I mean, he catches out of the backfield, so I wouldn't feel like if on my team I had a Rashad White and someone equivalent, I'm going to play the other guy, and I'm going to put Rashad White on the bench and just deal with the consequences because Detroit's defense is really good. That place is loud. It's going to be hard to communicate. So that's the only one that I would sit is Rashad White on either side. Other than that, everybody else is in play.
Yeah, I agree. Detroit, they were ranked the 3rd best defense against the run last week against the Rams. They only allowed 15.5 points. So pretty good defense there. All right, we'll move on to the next one. We have the Indianapolis Colts in the Green Bay Packers. This is Brian's favorite team to talk about, the Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Jordan Love most likely not going to play, and that's gonna affect the game big time and how the gameplay is going to be. But Anthony Richardson, Brian, you starting him this week?
I'm not starting Anthony Richardson any week.
Bro, listen.
Yeah.
He was the number 3 quarterback in fantasy this week.
He closed his eyes, Dave, and he threw a Hail Mary pass 60-something yards. That's why.
Is he lucky or is he good? Hey, you got to admit that where did he play college football?
Won't start with me. No.
Okay. That is the exact style of football that you expect to see.
Yeah.
Just they call it Hail Mary for a reason. You got to close your eyes and pray.
That's it, man.
So
it worked.
On the Indianapolis side, you're starting Jonathan Taylor. Saquon made a clown show out of the Green Bay Packers defense last week. You're starting Jonathan Taylor. You feel comfortable starting Michael Pittman or Pascal or anybody there? Who are we? What's the other guy? The rookie. What's his name? Mitchell. Are we starting?
Mitchell?
Yeah, are we starting any of those wide receivers?
I want to start Michael Pittman, but the dude he completed 9 passes last week. 9.
There's not enough to go
one
around.
One of them was a prayer. I mean, no. I should, and like I said, Michael Pittman after Anthony Richardson went down last year when he was with Gardner Minshew was great. Anthony, he can't throw. And how many throws did that guy have that he missed? So,
all right. So no wide receivers there, and so just Jonathan Taylor on the Indy side.
I think so. I mean,
you can run the ball,
but
yeah.
Oh no! Oh, there we are. We're back. Sorry, just Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, you could do Michael Pittman if you want to reach. I mean, if you want to flex him out, if you need a decent flex. But again, he completed 9 passes, and now he's going up to Green Bay. So whatever.
All right. On the Green Bay side,
Josh Jacobs all day long.
Yes.
And that's it. Nobody else.
The only
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. The only player because Malik Willis if Malik Willis starts, I'm very scared to start any of the wide receivers. If you had to start one, if you are a Jaden Reed owner, you got Jaden Reed on your team, you're probably wondering, what am I doing right now? If you have a better option, go for it. If you have to start him, that's the only person on that offense outside of Josh Jacobs I would be comfortable starting because they create plays for Jaden Reed. Yeah. Like it's not just run routes and let's see who's open. No, we're going to run this play because we need to get Jaden Reed the ball. So Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed are a good to go for me.
Okay.
All right, we're in the home stretch here. We got the Cleveland Browns in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Interesting here. Jaguars almost came out on top against the Miami Dolphins last week. The offense didn't look too bad. It was tolerable, but very interesting here on the Jaguar side. Travis Etienne had a fumble, and much like Tank Bigsby last year had a fumble and was never seen again on the field. Travis Etienne had that fumble, and it seemed like Tank Bigsby kind of took over. So what are we doing? Travis Etienne, you starting that guy?
Yep. Doug Peterson reassured everybody he's our starter. He's fine. And the fumble was the guy made a great play. He punched the ball out, if you saw it, right at the goal line. And I like Travis Etienne. He's a start for me every week.
All right. Dave, you said no, right?
It's
okay. You can say
so
no.
I haven't heard those comments from the coach yet.
Yeah.
I'm just having flashbacks from a different team last year, where a ball got fumbled and then that was the last. I mean, he was still on the team, but he barely touched the ball ever again. I just
wait. Are you talking about?
I don't want to talk about it.
Are you talking about Bijan Robinson?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Wait, him and Arthur Smith?
Yeah. Listen.
Please don't say his name.
First of all, I am still a little upset about last week. Okay. And I haven't got over everything, and I just want to move on. I want to talk about San Francisco.
Want to move on?
I just want to move on with my life.
Oh man! All right.
I'm still recovering. I'm sick. I'm not as caught up as you guys are right now because I'm just getting over it, and I'm muting myself.
All right, Brian. I guess we'll continue here for a second. The Jacksonville Jaguars wide receivers. What is going on there? Who are we starting? Who are we not starting? Are you worried, concerned? Evan Ingram's there. What are we doing with that guy?
I don't know, man. Evan Ingram, he was like a huge target last year, and I didn't know, but it's a one-game thing. I mean, if you got Evan Ingram, start him. If that's your starting tight end, you just got to start him. How good is Miami against a tight end anyway? I hate tight ends, but start him. And do they even remember that Christian Kirk is on that? I don't know about Trevor Lawrence though too. He was so bad. They were bad on offense, in my opinion, last week. So we'll just wait and see. I mean, if you drafted him high, you got to start him. It's just week 2. This isn't like week 5 or 6 and there's a trend or a pattern. It was 1 week. So if you drafted somebody high, you got to start him. Just start
yes. And although if you drafted a tight end high, then you don't deserve to win anyway.
That's right.
Christian Kirk had 4 targets, 1 catch for 30 yards. I'm curious to see how many of those routes Jalen Ramsey was guarding him. Very interesting. All right. On the Brown side, man, I'm starting Jerome Ford.
Yes.
Are we going? How do we feel? I mean, Deshaun Watson just looks abysmal. How do we feel about Amari Cooper?
Who's throwing him the ball?
Deshaun Watson.
Well, we're not sure. Deshaun Watson could be in trouble again, but
what?
I did see a report that he's going to play Sunday.
Oh, okay. Another allegation came out against him, Dave.
Yeah,
it's all right. His money's guaranteed. He's got no.
No, believe it or not, in the contract, it states anything after the first group of it. If another one comes out and it comes out to be true, they can null and void his contract, so he could lose his money.
Oh wow!
Added the clause. So
yeah, hey. Oh, never mind. Yes. I'm not going to start throwing conspiracy theories out. But you think they're looking for something?
I know.
We're a math show and a fantasy football show. Okay,
not a conspiracy.
Not a conspiracy theory
okay.
show. Okay. But are we starting Amari Cooper? Yes or no?
Yeah. If you drafted him high, you got to stick with him. It's week 2.
I think after week 2, if he does nothing, that's when you can hit the panic button.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. San Francisco, Dave. San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings. What? I mean, Dave, you wanted to talk about the 49ers. What do you want to say?
Listen, I love the 49ers team. I'm mad at myself for drafting CMC. I knew it. I knew it. It was too good to be true. Brian called it. I know it's week 1, whatever. But listen, there's a lot of good to say about it. The team, you're starting everybody.
Yep.
Debo,
Yep.
yes. Purdy,
Yep.
yeah. Brian, their kicker, yeah.
Nick Moody, yeah.
Yeah. You're starting to kicker,
Yep.
for sure. Because how many field goals did he kick?
Like 6, and 2 of them were
Yeah.
like 50 yards or something.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about Ayuk?
I'm starting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason, were you lucky enough to pick him up when you heard? Listen, I know how you feel about Jordan Mason, but I will say this. You're right, Brian. I already know what you're going to say. He came in. It was kind of a last-minute thing. Now they got a whole week of film on him. He's not going to repeat the same kind of efficiency or fantasy points that he did last week. He came in and proved himself. He did a great job in the stead of CMC. He's still going to get touches this week. He's still going to get fantasy points. He might not go off, so to speak, like he did. But I think if you've got him, you start him.
Yeah.
There, Bobby Drew. You start him. Start him. And then trade and then trade that other scrub that you have. Just get rid of the other guy.
Oh, man.
For the tens of our listeners out there, this is inside information here. I'm trying to get somebody from him.
Juwan Jennings is injured. He may not play. I mean, if he doesn't play Sunday, you would just imagine that Brandon Ayuk is going to get more opportunities there. So, yes, everybody on the San Francisco 49ers, you start every single one of them. Even if you have their offensive line, start those guys. The Minnesota Vikings, Aaron Jones looked good in his debut. Prime Aaron Jones, just doing his thing, running the ball. Yep. You know, it wasn't like he wasn't RB1 or anything. It's just regular old Aaron Jones doing his thing. Sam Darnold looked formidable to support Justin Jefferson. I'll say that. Which Justin Jefferson, he doesn't need much. As long as you can breathe, then you're good. So on the Minnesota side, we're starting Aaron Jones this week, or no, because of this defense?
Not against this defense. Nope.
Yeah.
Yep. I wouldn't trust it. Listen, the Vikings, this is where week 2 numbers are skewed because week 1 matchups are out of control. The Minnesota Vikings played the New York Giants. Those guys are trash, okay? Borderline UFL team. And so these numbers, like Aaron Jones, yes, he looked good. We're talking about the 49ers here, okay? Breece Hall struggled against the 49ers last week with a much better offensive line than the Minnesota Vikings. So you're starting would you start Justin? I mean, you're starting Justin Jefferson. That's without a doubt. Outside of that, I'm not starting anybody else on the Vikings.
Nope.
All in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Oh, man, this is an interesting match. Okay, this is interesting. Tyler Lockett, we know he's banged up. Kenneth Walker's banged up. How do we feel about DK Metcalf and Geno Smith?
Geno Smith, yes. DK, I mean, if you drafted him high, you have to, but he's going to have Gonzalez on him. I don't know. Gonzalez is a big corner. DK can't really bully him around. It's in Foxborough. Nah, I'm not starting DK.
If DK Metcalf has a bad week 2, are we panicking?
No.
Mm-mm.
This is a matchup thing. Nope.
I agree. Patriots side. What do we do? Oh, wait, no. I want to go back to before we move on, Seattle. If Kenneth Walker is not there, Zach Charbonnet, pick that guy up and start him. He's the RB1 right off the bat.
Absolutely.
You're going for opportunities there. It's not like the Patriots defense is something like out of this world. So, I would feel comfortable if you got Zach Charbonnet, start that guy if Kenneth Walker's not playing. New England Patriots side, Brian, you are in-house New England Patriots expert. Now we need you to be fantasy smart here. Who are we starting on the Patriots?
Ramondre all day.
Ramondre, yes.
Every week. He signed a 4-year contract in the offseason. They know he's the RB1. Gibson is hurt. Ramondre all day. The guy catches the ball. He can run the ball. He's physical. Ramondre is the only one I'm starting.
All in agreement? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Brian, you don't have to say aye. You that was your point.
You said all of us.
All right, New York Jets versus the Tennessee Titans. Okay, here we go. On the Jets side, we have Aaron Rodgers. We have Breece Hall.
Yes.
We have Garrett Wilson.
Yes.
Alan Lazard.
No.
And there's Mike Williams that's there too.
No.
And Tyler Conklin.
No.
What are we doing here?
Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right. Dave, you want to add any names to that?
That's it.
That's all.
Well, I agree with that. I wouldn't have any trouble starting Lazard either.
How many catches did Lazard have?
I'll look it up real quick.
Hang on, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you right now. He had Alan Lazard last week had 9 targets, 6 catches, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me, for him to get the points, he's got to get 2 touchdowns. How many receivers are getting 2 touchdowns a game?
Well, it's only only gone through 1 week of the season, so
No, but I'm saying, do you start?
I got to do some research. I hear what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, no, raise your hand if you drafted Alan Lazard before the 10th round. Yeah, before the 10th round.
Okay.
Exactly. Keep your hands down.
No, but what I'm saying is, look, here's the thing. Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard, that's the clear 1 and 2. Okay. He's throwing the ball to these guys. Aaron Rodgers is a throwing quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers is old.
He's not running the ball. I know. But we're not talking about, don't get me going on Aaron Rodgers, okay? But he's throwing the ball. He's not a running quarterback. Nope. He's not scrambling. He's a pocket passer. He's going, so he does quick reads, makes his decisions. He's throwing the ball. He's going to get his opportunities. Is he going to score 2 touchdowns every week? No, he's not, but he's going to get a fair share. Is as long as he's catching the ball. We saw it in the last game. He had some drop balls. We didn't see much of them in the first half, and then Aaron Rodgers started going back to him, and he's going to get points. And one of his touchdowns probably was it came at the end of the game. It was what do you call it?
It was a free play.
It's a junk play, but still, he's gonna get opportunities. Aaron Rodgers is gonna throw the ball at him.
Bro, this is fantasy football. I ain't got time with opportunities and might haves. He better know he's getting the touchdowns. Okay.
Okay.
But it's fantasy football. We look at opportunities. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I would.
But
say,
I don't start Aaron Rodgers though.
No.
I mean, if he's my quarterback, if I drafted him then yeah, you got to start him. But I don't.
Aaron Rodgers.
There's too many other quarterbacks ahead of him. I feel like I don't really start him.
If you have a quarterback that's not going to play, and there's not a good backup that you want to put in, then yeah, take a shot. Whatever, you could do worse. But I'll be the tiebreaker on the debate for Alan Lazard starting this week against the Tennessee Titans. I say start the guy.
Okay. Yeah, start the guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who your other receivers are. Just start Alan Lazard because they're playing Tennessee, and he got 2 pathetic.
I'm talking about in a flex position, not a wide receiver.
Start in a flex position. I'd rather start a running back.
What if you don't have one, Brian?
Then you don't.
What if it's CMC and he's not playing this week?
Then you don't know how.
What if you have CMC and Raheem Mostert?
You don't know how to draft.
Anybody on the Titans side? Are we playing anybody on Titans?
Yeah, Tony Pollard.
Playing?
I'm gonna play Tony Pollard.
Pollard.
Is that it?
There you go. That's all you're getting.
All right. I don't disagree with that. This is going to be a crazy game. The New York Giants and the Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
Oh my. We'll start with the Giants side. Daniel Jones had -4 fantasy football points last week. That's a real stat. You can look it up. He had negative. I'm gonna take a long stab here. I'm gonna predict that Daniel Jones is going to end with more than -4 fantasy football points.
Oh man, we're gonna step out on a limb on that one.
Wow.
You can, and yeah, well, he's gonna go off. He's gonna double that.
Double it. So 0.4 points.
Are you starting anybody on the Giants? I got one player that I would like to start, maybe two. I'm gonna say Malik Neighbors. I'm okay with starting Malik Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Maybe Devin Singletary. Maybe
What did you say, Brian?
Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary. I would start him against the Washington Commanders. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Singletary, Malik Neighbors. What about Daniel Jones? How do you feel about Daniel Jones? No. Okay. What about on the Washington Commanders side? Jaden Daniels. What are we thinking about Jaden Daniels?
He's good for now until he gets speared by Roman Reigns, and then he's done.
Nice.
So, are we saying start him until he can't play no more?
Start him until he dies.
I mean, if you have Joe Burrow, you start Joe Burrow this week. You don't start Jaden Daniels. I mean, that would be a silly move.
Wow, who would do something like that?
Someone that's not going to win a league.
More inside.
Wow, what a burn.
More inside talk here.
Yeah.
Cryptic information for all our listeners.
For all
You
of our
can
listeners,
maybe-
I have Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. I picked up Jaden Daniels. I'm heavily considering starting Jaden Daniels this week because he's playing against the New York Giants.
But
You
yeah,
did this last year with the Washington Commanders quarterback. You picked up
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
Yeah, Sam Howell.
He did good for you for a couple weeks, I think.
Yep.
You did decent. With
Are we
him,
starting
so-
Brian Robinson?
You are probably.
I would. He was pretty good last week.
Yeah, he's decent. He's formidable. So I say Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson. What about Scary Terry McLaurin?
I want to start him because he was probably drafted pretty high. The guy's so good, but Jaden Daniels doesn't really throw the ball yet. So maybe in a flex spot, but not as a wide receiver 1 or 2.
Yeah, I would be comfortable with a flex spot, but that's only if you have to. That's like a I don't have anybody else. I have to. Would you rather start Terry McLaurin or DK Metcalf?
Terry McLaurin.
Dave?
I might have to see if this guy's available so I can pick him up.
They're both gone. Don't even bother.
And that's a start. He'll say, I'll start both.
I am so disappointed in my fantasy team this year. I'm not over it, dude.
All right, guys, we got 5 more games here. We're going to fire through these real quick.
Yep.
On the Cardinals, we're starting everybody except who? They're playing against the Rams.
Oh,
Rams.
Except who?
Yeah, we're starting everybody except.
I'm not going to start Michael Wilson. Last week was nothing.
So Marvin Harrison in, Trey McBride in, Kyler Murray in, James Conner in.
Mm-hmm.
What about on the Rams side? Puka Nakua's out. You're starting Cooper Kupp. Matt Stafford. That guy's in there.
Kyron Williams.
That guy's in. Now, what about Colby Parkinson?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
What about the Whittington guy?
Nope.
Tyler Johnson.
Nope.
So Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, and Matt Stafford, and we're out?
That's it. Next team. We're moving on.
I don't disagree there. Dave, you got any disagreements?
Not really. Brian's the sports guy, and I just figured I should have listened to him.
Dave,
and I didn't.
Dave, you are so sad right now. It's my heart hurts. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos. What? Who are we starting here?
Nobody, but man, I don't know if anybody saw this. Cortland Sutton literally had 12 targets last week. 12. Imagine if he catches them like Cooper Kupp can catch. The dude could have got you 20-something points on that team. 12. I mean, Bo Nix. Okay, 42 attempts, the dude threw for like 138 yards. 26 for 40, 130. How do you even do that? 26 completions for 138 yards.
If Cortland Sutton catches 6 of those for
Yeah.
10 yards each,
Yeah.
it's a good game.
That's a great game.
Good
Yep.
game.
One of the things I like about that is clearly their quarterback is throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he's throwing it a lot of times to nobody. But
So here's your opportunity. the throwaways and the inaccuracy counts as a throw, right?
yes, it does.
So he's going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get stuff worked out.
It was in Seattle, and it is a pretty loud place to play. I'm not gonna.
Oh well, yeah.
So
they're playing in Denver this week. So
yeah, but last week they played in Seattle. So that's
yeah. Are we starting Cortland Sutton or no?
If I drafted him high, yeah, I'm gonna start him.
I'm scared of Javonte Williams. Don't start that guy.
Right.
Outside of that, on the Broncos, Cortland Sutton, and that's it. Check out Pittsburgh side. Man,
start their defense.
Defense. There's one player, Pat Fryermuth.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that guy.
Yep.
I'll start that guy, just because he's a tight end, and there's not a lot of tight ends out there. So I'll take my chances on that, and I'll give my reason here in just a few seconds. We have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, we're starting Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce. How do you guys feel about Rashee Rice?
Yep, I'm starting him.
Yeah.
What about Xavier Worthy?
Nope.
3 touches, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of one of those things. I mean,
nope.
I don't know. I got to see more from him before I think I'd be willing to start him on the regular.
All right, I'm fine with that. What about on the Bengals side? What are we doing?
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
If T. Higgins is healthy, we playing him?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I got bad experience with guys with hamstring injuries.
What about Zach Moss?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, that Chiefs front is they're pretty good. I think the Chiefs defense is much like the Cowboys. You can run against them. You can pass against them. It's harder to run.
Yep.
All right, last 2 games here. We have the Chicago Trash Cans. The Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. Starting all of those guys?
Yep.
Every single one of them. CJ Stroud?
Yep.
What about Joe Mixon?
Yeah.
Really?
And what about their kicker? Yes.
Kyle Fairburn? Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Start the kickers.
The Buffalo Bills wish they had that guy. They probably wouldn't have got kicked out of the playoffs. Anyways, the Chicago Bears. What are we doing? What are we doing with the Chicago Bears offense? I'm not even touching it.
Nope.
DJ Moore? You feel what? DJ Moore? No? Yeah? No?
No.
All right.
Nope.
Dave, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
go ahead.
I heard something. I heard an interview with Caleb Williams. I'm going to be honest with you. The AI stuff is so good and the deep fakes. I don't even know if this was a real interview or not. So I'm afraid to even say anything.
Was it the one that he said he didn't care about stats?
Yes. Was that real?
That's real.
Oh my God.
He said that because he was terrible.
I know. I get what you're saying. I care about the win. I don't care if it was an ugly win or whatever. We got the win. I kind of get what he was saying, but you've got to care about the stats. The stats equals completions. That's what the stats are. Completions, yards, touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's all the important things. And he's like saying, I get what he was probably trying to say. He had a bad game. They got the win. So it's like, I don't care about the stats. We got the W. But you've got to care about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And
your defense is not going to score 24 points every game.
No.
It's just not. You have to. Good take, Dave. Good job.
Good job.
That was nice. I
Real
like
good. Real good.
Last game, we have the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, Atlanta Falcons. Who are we starting?
Bijan,
Bijan's
Bijan for sure.
Drake
Kirk
London.
Cousins. Are we starting Kirk Cousins?
No, Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
All right. Wow. Did Brian? Did Brian just say?
Kyle Pitts. Listen, I agree.
It's a matchup thing.
This is one of those frustrating things for me last week because it's very personal to me because
Dave.
my kicker, Fairbairn, scored more points than Kirk Cousins and Drake London combined last week. Okay?
Dave.
Are they going to let me down that hard every week? No. It's not. You got to start Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
Dave,
I could go either way with Kirk Cousins, but, you know, he played like a guy coming off of a really major injury.
Dave, stop making everything so personal.
Imagine that. It is personal.
Stop making fantasy football so personal.
I'm looking right at you people watching.
Bijan is in. Kyle Pitts is in.
It
Drake
is
London
personal.
is in.
Says the dude that scored 73 points.
Listen, we both know I would have scored 100 points if CMC played. Okay?
Well, you drafted him. I told you not to, but whatever.
I know.
Dave.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion.
Man. All right. We'll get to that last side right there. The Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is in. Saquon is in. A.J. Brown is in. Devontae Smith, that guy's in. How do you feel about Dallas Goedert?
If you got him, play him.
Yeah, listen, everybody needs a tight end that'll get him 4 points.
Yep.
Okay? So
good for that.
Yeah, he's a good solid tight end. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to our last segment here. We went through every single game. Good job, guys.
Can I just say something real quick? I just want to apologize for making it all about me. Okay, move on.
Oh my goodness. We missed you, Dave, on Tuesday. We really did, man.
Yeah, we really did. We missed you so much.
I could tell. I watched the show. It was terrible.
All right. We're going to fire through these. You guys don't even have to give us any reasons, okay? We're just going to – you start these guys because we told you to.
Just started.
All right. This is our starts of the week. For running back, my start of the week is Brian Robinson.
Well, you got to give us a little bit.
All right. They're playing against the New York Giants. That's all I need. That's literally all I need to say. That's all I got to say. Dave, what's yours?
My running back, Ramondre Stevenson. He hit pay dirt last week, 28 touches. I mean, they're playing the Seahawks this week, second worst against the run. Last week, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see how they do this week.
Brian.
I got Josh Jacobs. Jordan Love is out, and they're at home. And I just think against this opponent, Jacobs is going to do really, really good.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
Run the ball, dump offs. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go. Wide receivers. My start of the week is Malik Neighbors. On the other side of that game, I just feel like it's going to be an absolute score-a-thon. The Washington Commanders were 6th worst against wide receivers, and Malik Neighbors, even though Daniel Jones was so bad, he had 7 targets last week. I believe he's going to get around that much. So start Malik Neighbors. Dave.
I'm going to start Cooper Kupp, obviously, but with Puka out, he's going to get a high share load of the targets, obviously. So I'll start Cooper.
Brian.
I'm going to start Tyreek Hill because Buffalo can't guard anybody. They're at home, and he's going to have a field day.
All right. Our tight ends, I got Pat Freiermuth simply because Denver is terrible, and they were the worst against the tight ends last week. And if Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, whichever one starts, can throw the ball 5 yards, Pat Freiermuth is going to be A-OK. Dave?
Trey McBride. He's got good chemistry with Kyler Murray. Obviously, he led the team in targets last week, so I'm starting him.
I know you're sick, but I thought you were about to start crying talking about that one. Yeah, Brian, who's your tight end?
I'm trying not to cough.
I'm starting Dalton Kincaid for the opposite reason. He wasn't targeted much at all. And Josh Allen with his hand injury can't be a ball hog this week, I don't think. So I think he's going to use Dalton Kincaid a little more than what he did. So if you got him, start him.
There we go. All right, QBs of the week. I'm going with Matt Stafford. He's versus Arizona. Arizona's defense is not that great. They were the 5th worst against the quarterbacks last week. And Matt Stafford has Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is healthy. I like that a lot. Give me Matt Stafford this week. Dave?
I'm going with the hot hand and Baker Mayfield. I don't necessarily think he's going to repeat the same, fantasy points. However, he's going, when it comes to the pass, solid receivers. They're playing Detroit. Detroit was the 3rd best against the run, right?
Yes.
What were they against the pass?
Not as good.
Like the worst. Okay. So we'll see. I'm going with Baker.
Oh, Detroit was the 3rd worst against the pass.
Yep.
Brian, who do you got?
I know I'm a Dolphin heavy today, but I got Tua Tagovailoa. It's a division game, and everybody's talking, Josh Allen can win MVP. I think Tua is on a mission this year. I don't know. I listened to a lot of interviews of the offseason, him talking about what happened with Brian Flores when he was there and how McDaniels is basically giving him a new lease. I think Tua's going to have a great year. I think he's going to showcase himself tomorrow. Everybody's going to be watching, and Tua's going to have a great – I think he may even end up being QB1. So if you got him, start him.
And also, you just like saying Tagovailoa.
Because many people can't. Hey, I got Samoans in my family, so I love me some Samoans.
Yeah.
What a way to end the show. You heard it here first. Brian from the Bobby Drew Show says that Tua is going to be QB1.
I said he could be. Now, mind you, there were some famous people and not so famous people that laughed about my Joe Mixon take, but maybe it is pretty right. We'll just have to wait and see.
Just a quick reminder, it's week 1 or week 2 now. But all right, well, that's it. That's all we got.
Yep.
Thank you all for being in here. Follow us on all of our social medias. We're also on Spotify at The Bobby Drew Show. Peace out. God bless.
See it.
Thank you for watching another episode of The Bobby Drew Show. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at The Bobby Drew Show.